Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Advocator, the program where we talk about all the amazing things happening in any comics. The format's basically anything goes while we're here. So if you have a comment or you want to make a comment, you want to have something on the show, please just have it thrown on into the comments, and we're going to get to it. I have Chuck with me. Now, Chuck is going through, I believe, a branding thing. I saw that you said on the news yesterday you're trying to find your brand. So,
yeah, I always am, yeah.
So what's the brand for today? Because even when introducing you, I was like, all right, I'm going to leave off the last name. We're going to go with just Chuck. Is that going to be it?
I think at some point, yeah, that's going to be the aim. I think you want to shorten that as much as possible. I like how you've gone the other way. You're like, screw Rob. I'm going to be Rob AnderSiN, the devil. And like just...
I've become like the wrestler who has too much going on. Like, I am like the cerebral assassin, the king of kings. Like, I don't know. It comes to the wrestling background, you know. For those who don't know, I am like the oh, there I go. There's my big voice now. I actually was training to be a wrestler, and I love wrestling. So, like, some of the things that I do with comic books, I take directly from wrestling. I take that energy and I just run with it, man. I'm like, yeah, fuck everybody.
I like it. For me, though, I'm just all about short and sweet. So, yeah, I mean, Chuck Pino, that's who I am. But, yeah, at the end of the day, I just want to walk into a room and I want it to be like fucking Cheers and people just go, Chuck!
That's amazing. So, Advocator, how did you get involved with the Advocator? I know, obviously, but most people might not know. How did this all come up? And do you even realize how long we've been talking about doing the Advocator?
The Advocator we've been talking about, hasn't it at least been since, like, August?
Actually, the Advocator, if you remember, started off as the Written Sins thing that we had to postpone. And we postponed it because we went through the brand change. For those who don't know, because there are a lot of people watching now who might not realize, at the beginning of the year, we started off as Written Sins. And I changed the name because at a con early in the year, I was tired of, and going back to what you were saying a few minutes ago, sometimes you get tired of saying the same thing over and over again. And I was telling everyone, no, Written Sins is a great name because every story is about a sin. And you have to fix it. You have to talk about it. You're doing this. And I would keep talking about Written Sins and why I named my site Written Sins instead of talking about my comic books. By the time I got to my comic books, I was tired. I didn't want to talk anymore because I just sold them on Written Sins being such a good name that did nothing for me. If I could just make a name that explained what it was and quickly got to the point. And I made a business card and asked everyone to check the spelling of the business card to make sure I didn't screw up the spelling of the business card. And I printed them and I went out there and I sent out these business cards that were apparently for dyslexic people.
I remember that. I was so embarrassed.
Yeah, because I got the name wrong at first. And advocates is not the easiest word in the land for me to get, but I nailed that one. It was indie.
It was indie.
The one I do the most, the one that I shouldn't have had a problem. And I remember showing it to a bunch of people, Chuck included.
I am one of them. I'll take it.
I was like, it looks wrong to me. What's wrong with it? And everyone was like, no, you're fine. And one friend I had was like, oh, shit, I knew that the whole time. He's like, I just didn't say anything. I was like, why wouldn't you say anything?
Right?
I thought you knew. Oh, yeah.
I thought the dyslexic was well aware. Yeah, no, I got into it when, oh, shit, look at this dude.
Someone finally showed up this morning.
I wake up at the fresh hour of 10 a.m. Every day. I like to get an early start to my day to make sure that I'm prepared to take on everything.
We were talking about how Chuck got involved with the project. So a lot of people don't even realize how far back this project goes. And Travis knows this started off as the Written Sins thing where we were going to do the Sins thing. And then Chuck was bringing us up to date how he got involved. So go ahead, Chuck.
I mean, for me, I'm just a lucky dude to be with people who love what they do, and it basically how it went down is it started spitballing, and this was getting like further along, and Travis actually had a really good idea for something that I could play with one of my own stories, and I got kind of excited about it too, and that's when you guys were like, hey man, we need an editor too. Can you come in and help us out with that? And I'm like, hell yeah, of course. And, you know, I love it. So I got in pretty early.
So Travis, you're pretty much the driving force between the gear shift between Written Sins and the Advocator, because you found me at an interesting part in my life. Not only was I dealing with a vocal injury, which I didn't actually let anyone know about for months, and I was struggling to talk for months, but you were actually the inspiration behind the sudden push to get it done. Because I was definitely just not at the moment with the whole Written Sins and doing it by the Sins and rebranding. I was going through so much in that particular moment. You saw the potential in it, and you were like, no, you're going to do this, and I'm going to help you do this. And you just would not leave me alone about it.
Yeah, for me, this project was really just looking at what you do and trying to take that, because everyone who does comics, you want to build a brand. You're taught to build a brand. So the Written Sin was actually an extension of that, right? You know, it's you know, kind of your branding, and Mr. AnderSiN try to get all that stuff together. But really what you do best, and what he's always done best, is advocate for others. So what if we made a book that actually advocated for people and allowed them to advocate? There's tons of anthologies out there, but all they are is getting Chuck's name out there as a good writer, Travis's name is a good writer, Rob is a good writer. But what if we're helping our brand move forward, which is what the Advocator, the Indie Advocates website does every day. So we took that idea and found a format in a book that really works and allows people to showcase. And what's really cool about it that we were talking about yesterday, Rob and I, is it forces you to sell. So let's use Chuck as an example. If he's at a con and he's like, all right, I have issue 0 out. I also have the Advocator, which has a 4-page story that ties into issue 0. It's really hard to sell a 4-page book. That forces him to advocate for me for the other books that are in there, talking about the Grimwood Crossing, talking about Binary Star, talking about Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies, talking about Mary Revised, talking about all these other great titles that are in there, because he needs to sell that book, because he wants to change this transaction. Let's talk about money thing from $4 to $8 or whatever he's selling those things for. Let's just use that example.
And Brian K. Morris is joining us, and he says, hey, guys, straighten up, because you're part of a watch party on my page. Cool.
Ooh.
Morning, gents. Good morning. And Jesse Hansen, who did a no-show on me and Travis in Daytona. So you owe us, Jesse. You got to come hang out with us. He's on, and he's saying howdy, howdy, howdy. And I said, Jack is saying, what's up, Rob? What's up, guys? Put all your links in. We're going to look at what you guys are working on as well. So put in the thing. That's right, Jesse. You owe us the next takeover. You got to be there, Jesse.
Everyone talked about how Jesse will be there. Jesse will be there. He's just always late. He's always late. And then someone was like, no, bro, he's not coming.
We were told like you were like seriously sick, had no.
Yeah.
We let it slide. You get another chance, Jesse. You get another chance. But Travis, talk to us about how did we get the team together? Who's on the project? Because you know, as the project manager of this issue, especially, you pretty much brought a lot of these people together. I might have known some of them, but you were the one who put them together and really got it and explained how this is working. So everyone's a captain in this. No one, everyone's like running their own team. So let's let them know about that.
Yeah, well, first off, let's invite Brian on. If you want to send him the link, if he has time, he's more than welcome to join us. Because we'd love to promote not just that this is just an issue 1 thing. Issue 2 is already developed. Most people have already sent the stuff. So let's get him an invite to this, because I think it's important. So what I did, and it's very strategic. I'm a marketing guy, so I have to look at the numbers. So our first target market was people who funded or did something on Kickstarter in 2018. So we reached out to a whole bunch of creators who we thought would be good fits in that, because we wanted people who have a brand, who need their brand to move forward. Because sometimes, let's use Welcome to the Void again as an example. You're looking at March, April for Welcome to the Void 1?
Yeah, that's what we're looking at.
Yeah, same thing with Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies. So we wanted to give something that's in that gap to continue to keep people interested, because it is hard when you go 6 months to 5 months between issues, because it's not because we can't get the issues done sooner. It's we have to do fulfillment in between. You don't want to produce a book without the fulfillment. So we had to find people who have already gone through that process and got it. So we added the first one we grabbed right off the boat is we had a bunch of guys. We had Chuck and myself who signed on very early to the project with our Broke Down and Welcome to the Void. We wanted Jamie really, really quick. Jamie's from Binary Star. We wanted to jump her in, get her connected with everything. So she's great, and she's amazing. She ran a great Kickstarter. It's a trade. She does a webcomic on a regular basis. Second person that we pulled in is Grimwood Crossing. Do you want to talk about Connor, Chuck? Because you're his editor, so I think
I am. I love that dude. He is just such a good guy, and Connor is he's a grinder. Like, he's always doing something. He's got that Swords and Sorrows we just came out with. I just got my copy. I love that book. I'm so proud of that story. He's got all the Grimwood stuff. He has he's planning to do an omnibus that's been held off, but he's going to be doing a big, huge one coming up soon, a nice, beautiful graphic novel of that. He's always doing tons of short stories. He has a fantasy book. Like, this guy just is always going. He's young, he's energetic, and he wants to show his stuff off, and he's good.
Yeah, he's really good. He's a welcome person to the team. The next person that we added was Frank Martin. So Frank Martin does what's called Modern Testament, and it's not a religious book, even though it sounds like it. It's not at all. What it is, it's modern retellings of biblical stories. So the story that's in the Advocator is a story of Noah, but it's not the story of Noah that we're used to. So he's a hustler as well. He has 4 issues that are like 35 pages each or so of his stuff. So he's been killing it and doing all sorts of things. So we added him onto the team because we thought he'd be a great fit for issue 1. Next on our list is, who else do we got? We've got Joseph
Dewis.
Yeah, Joseph Dewis. That guy has a Kickstarter every month, right? Is that true?
No, he does about 1 or 2 a year, but he
goes quarterly.
He goes quarterly? Okay.
Is he quarterly?
Yeah, right now, the way he did it in 2018, he was on every 3 months.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But in fairness, one of them wasn't his direct project.
Okay.
He was in an anthology at one point during the year that wasn't his own.
Okay.
I think it was Russell's last Kickstarter, actually.
Yeah, so he does some great stuff. One of his things that he did earlier this year was the Dr. Orange, and that killed it. You know, it was a really cool thing. It was a really cool concept. So we got him on. Oh, Brian joined us. That's awesome.
Yay!
So that's our team that rounds up issue 1. He's got to put on the bow tie. He can't properly address us without the bow tie. I respect that. Fashion is important, Brian.
It's to make up for my lack of personality.
So that rounds up issue 1. And issue 1's been done for a while, just so you guys know. I mean, we've had the pages for a long time. We haven't put it all together, so we're not going to do that. There's still a couple of people who wanted to do a little bit updates on their lettering, some coloring. But for the most part, it's been done for a bit. But we wanted to make sure that everybody had a chance to fulfill their Kickstarters before we even launched it, because we really want to make sure everybody gets a chance to succeed, and that's our goal with it. And right off the bat, so that's going to be our winter 2019 edition, and that's going to be launching the end of December. I even want to go sooner, but it's probably going to be the end of December. And then Brian is kicking off issue 2. So we've got issue 2 coming out right after, which is in the spring. So that'll be like our April, May release, or maybe even March. And that's got Brian K. Morris doing a Nature Boy Adventures, which is not about Ric Flair. I was a little upset about that. You want to talk about that, Brian?
Brian, tell us about it.
Good morning, everyone. Well, I'm working with my usual partner in crime, Eric Hawkins, a very talented illustrator who worked with me on the Ghostly Tales of Spencer Spook, but he also has a dramatic style that he'll be showing the world, and he's awesome. He's awesome. It's basically a character created by Jerry Siegel and John Buscema back in the 50s, Kind of goofy fun, and we had a blast putting that together. And then when you guys said you were having an anthology and you wanted some ne'er-do-wells to help fill up the pages, well, Eric and I, of course, volunteered. So thank you for having us. I'm looking forward to the anthologies. I love seeing what you guys do. Love seeing you guys hustle. It does my heart good. The day of put it out and they will come is long behind us, unfortunately.
Right.
But I'm proud to be in such august company. So that's my gig this morning. So go with that.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we've got Harold White, which is semi new to the comic industry, right? He does more of the DJing, right? That's correct, right, Rob?
He's also written songs, so he's a songwriter.
Songwriter, yeah.
And he knows his stuff. Harold's a great guy, actually.
Oh, his book, his comic in issue 2 is amazing. I've read it. I loved it. I think it's a really good, interesting piece because it's, you have to be talented to tell a 4-page story. It's just, you have to be talented, especially if you're doing comics, because half your story is going to be pictures. So, you don't even get a chance to give that great description or that stuff. To tell a good story in 4 pages, you've got to be the best. And that's what we hope we're getting. And then we've got Barbara Unleashed. Is that what we're doing? That's what we're doing for issue 2, right?
Well, issue 2, as of right,
monsters.
Is I have 2 different stories, but as of right now, we're currently aiming to do the 3-prong crossover because it's the Advocator. I wanted to do something that you've never seen before, and I wanted to combine 3 different comic books that had not a shot in hell of ever doing a crossover. I took And They Call Us Monsters. I took the character from Barbara Unleashed, who's a cosplayer, by the way. And I took for those who don't know, Keith Thomas passed away last year in November, and he created an amazing series called Into the Suck. And I teamed up with his artist, CB Zane, who I'll give a quick look to right now, and I'll show you guys what we're talking about. CB Zane took over the project and has been running it and has been doing great stuff on Kickstarter with it. And we're going to be teaming up, and you guys can see his art up here, some of the stuff.
Wow.
He does. And we're teaming up to bring these 3 characters together out of all places, a Comic-Con. Something that has never been tried as far as I know, because my other character who we introduced this year from And They Call Us Monsters, the character that's based upon the Wolfman, he is actually a cosplayer as well. So Barbara's going to be playing the character from Into the Suck, and she is going to meet the Wolfman, and it doesn't have to be canon. I've always made this very clear about the Advocator. The Advocator doesn't always have to be canon. This is a great way for you to play with your characters in a way that you basically couldn't play with them before. Now you can actually see them in a brand new way that no one else has ever seen them, but you always wanted to showcase them. I always call it the web episodes. For those who watch television, sometimes you'll see web episodes, and they don't always necessarily stay in canon, meaning they don't affect the story long term. So it's been a pretty cool experience being able to bring those characters to play with each other in a way that you could have never seen any other place. So that's a great thing to think of when you're being part of this. And of course, Travis will tell you, we're already looking to book issue 3.
Yeah, exactly. Well, we still have a couple of great people. So John Horsley, who's been an artist, he's doing his, it's called an Anais anthology. So what Anais is a family that has multiple generations, and he's has people writing and drawing these characters in various settings throughout history, and they're kind of like kind of gothic, kind of vampire-ish family. So he's going to put one of those stories into the next anthology here, into the Advocator. So that's the next one, and that's guy's really cool. A lot of you guys probably know him for his work on Spoiler Country, which is a podcast. So most people know him from that more than his work, which is sad because he's actually very talented. He's been doing comics for about a decade. And then we've got Martha Swartz. That's how you say her last name, right?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Martha is doing Seed Seeker, which is a fun little book. She just sent me the art for it. It's a fun little Elf Quest type book. So that's really cool. So she's gonna add in. She's gonna help us out. She's also gonna do my colors for my book. helping us out. But she's just a great community involvement. She loves it. She's always, if you know her, you probably know her from one of the chat groups. She is always trying to get people encouraged or doing stuff. So she signed on for that. And then Joseph, we allowed him to do a two-parter. So he is continuing in issue 2 with a two-parter. So we're not trying to do two-parters, but we're trying to keep people interested to go to the next issue. So we'll probably do another two-parter in 3 and 4 to get that as well, because we really want people to have the opportunity to do stuff. We kept it to 4 pages just to keep the page count down for cost. But yeah, man, we've got 2 issues coming out right back to back. Issue 1 is coming out very, very soon. And yeah. Is that everything you needed, Rob?
It sounds like a good start. The exciting thing about this whole project is that, and Travis didn't talk about this, so I'll bring it up. And this is something that me and him agreed on early on. And you guys can back me up on this. How many times you guys been part of an anthology where you got a couple copies and that was the end of it? That's it. Yeah. Got a couple copies. Thank you for showing up. I'm now going to sell the rest of the copies and make all the profit off of everyone else's work. And that's how it always felt like to me as a creator when I got involved in some of these anthologies that wind up on shelves for like years. You finally get your book, you get 2 copies, and then they go on their way. Meanwhile, you're like, wait a minute, where are the rest of the copies? What happens to the rest of this? And there are some creators, to be fair, that do a really good job at sharing profits, and they sign bigger contracts. But for the most part, what we've seen with most anthologies is that you do an anthology and then that's it. Your stuff is out there, but you don't get anything that's helping you do it. So going back to the whole fact that there is a site called Indie Advocates that advocates for people, we wanted a book that not only advocated for people, but empowered the creators. And that's what we wanted to do here. So Travis and me came up with the idea that this book has to be about getting everyone copies, right, Travis?
Correct. Yeah, it's not about money, because what happens to creators, unfortunately, is where a lot of people are doing this as a hobby at this point. They're not pros yet. So money confuses people and it confuses their mind. So we wanted to cut the money out of it completely. So that's what we did. We're sending copies. The copies are either going to go to us or they're going to go to the people who got it from the Kickstarter. That's it. That's all you're getting. So you're not getting cash, you're getting copies, and everybody's going to get the same amount of copies. We're keeping it streamlined for that to allow the money situation to be out of there, and you go out and sell your books. And if you want to reprint them, go ahead and reprint them. That's on you. You're allowed to do that.
Yeah, and I think that's important, and I think there's an importance to it. And as an example, Brian.
Yes.
Yes. Taking notes. If you had the Advocator at the table for your second book, how would you pitch it? What would you do with that book? You have your 4-page story in there. You have these other 5 creators joining you in the book. How do you pitch that book? I'm going to put you on the spot and see how you do, because I think you could figure it out real easy.
Okay, my elevator pitch, because I found in person that I can sell my work better than I can other people, which is something I'm working on. But it would be, I have a 4-page Nature Boy story in this book, along with other great indie creators that you are going to want to check out. If you like my stuff, you're going to love their work.
I like that. See, for me, and I think that Chuck might agree with me on this, because he's worked with a lot of my books, so he knows that I have a very different group of stories to tell. I have The Fourth Monkey, which is an anthology about anti-bullying and social issues. I have a kid's book. I have a book about fetish and adult themes. I have a book about monsters. This book is now another tool to sell things, though, because by having Brian K. Morris in a book with me, I can go, hey, do you know Brian K. Morris? He's a great guy. He's someone who is empowering indie comics, and you really got to check out how he is as a writer. You know, and I have a 4-page story in this. Yeah, it's really good. But Brian K. Morris did a better job than me, and I'll be honest, I'm proud to be in a book with him. And this is about indie comics and why we're better than Marvel and DC, and here's our proof. And I think that being able to empower people, and even talking about, you know, Travis is great in this book, because I'll be one of the few people who's actually going to buy issue number 1, because I am basically the voice of this book. And even though I do have I'll probably get a credit for lettering, I'm not really part of it. And Chuck, I'm not going to make Chuck give me copies of his book, because how it works with team leaders is Travis, Chuck, and Brian will all get copies, and then they distribute it through the team how they see fit. So it's up to you. You know, you're the team leaders. Be fair with your team. I'm buying extra copies, and I'm basically, I think we talked about it being a vendor pack. Is that how we're doing it, Travis?
Well, we talked about it, but we really can't put that live until after we're funded, just because we need what we promised everybody. But yeah, there will be a vendor pack, but it'll probably be right. So, but we may do a retail pack or something. We'll figure out some way to do that, but we've got to really figure out the math. But there'll be some way for people to buy in, like big time, if they want to.
Yeah, and I'll be doing that. So when these books are getting split, I don't get part of the split because I'm not a team. I am a team member for Chuck, but I'm not doing it that way. I want copies of my own, so I'll figure it out, and it'll be a special thing that only we'll understand. We're not going to put the magic of the math out there. Yeah. It's just rude to show people how the cow is slaughtered. You just bring them the burger. You don't bring them the hooves, you know? So Travis is definitely the brains behind all the math. I'm not a fan of math. I can do it. I like it. And Chuck is the editor of the story. So we kind of brought together an interesting group that I don't think that if any one of us tried to make this group happen, it wouldn't have happened the way it did. And I think that's what's so important about this book, because all three of us are drawing. And this is important. We're audience sharing. You know what I mean? Brian K. Morris does the amazing Never Mind the Furthermore, and he does
clever title pending.
Clever. There, I was getting caught on the word clever title pending. And he's bringing his audience. Travis is bringing his audience of all the broke down and all his you do have a religious following, which is interesting, to the Last Testament, which is cool. Because you're bringing people that we don't necessarily, I might not have reached with my name, that people might go, well, if Travis likes Rob, maybe Rob's not a bad guy because I know Travis. So maybe they'll get past my name of going with the indie devil, and they'll be like, all right, he's being tongue-in-cheek. He's not really that much of a devil. Although you could ask my ex, I'm sure she'll say I'm a real devil. And then you have Chuck, who's just absolutely the darling of indie right now. Everyone,
I don't know about that.
Everyone talk about Chuck, and they're like, that dude is solid, man. I definitely think Chuck brings the stoner crowd in, though.
I can kind of believe that, actually. I don't aim for that crowd, but it's just because I'm a chill dude.
And that's one thing. I think that all four of us should take a trip to anywhere it's legal and do a live podcast all stoned up.
I don't do that, but I can drink.
Yeah. We'll get you two drunk, and me and I have a back injury. I can get away with getting stoned. It's legal, I tell you.
All right.
And I'm Canadian. Is the strength of 10 because my heart is pure.
We'll give you crack. Oh. We'll give Brian K. Morris crack, and he'll be fine. I've seen.
What is happening?
How would you be able to tell the difference?
I don't think you're.
What are we advocating for right now?
Yeah, I'm a coffee drinker in this group. I mean, come on.
But kind of the whole point of this is that when creators get together, amazing things happen. Besides getting drunk and stoned, we create some amazing things. And I think it's because we're all such creative people, and this includes everyone in this project. I am so honored to be part of a project with such amazing creators. And we have creators who are interested, who are waiting in the wings to see what happens. That's why this is so important. Even with me and Brian being on issue number 2, we know that you guys are batting first. We have to help you so we can get on base. And that's basically our job for everyone in issue number 2, is to support the hell out of you guys for issue number 1. Because if you blow the doors down, here we come with issue 2. And there'll be pressure that I know me and Brian K. Morris want. We want to do a follow-up book and almost be competitive with it. We're like, no, we can step up and give you just as good a book. You know, I know Travis gets sensitive when I say
just as good.
I know Travis gets sensitive when we're at a table together.
Just do your best.
You guys will do your best. We believe in you.
Travis, and I do this when he's not there, but he'll do his pitch, and then the person will look at me. I'm like, oh, I'm the indie devil. I create the other better comics, and he always has this look on his face Like, better, huh? Like, he gets so upset. Probably true. I love you, Travis. But no, seriously, this is oh, and it's good for us to be a little competitive, and that's important because when we're competing with each other, we're really making each other better. Yeah. And I think that's important. And I think it's very important to be supportive of the community and supportive of each other. Yeah. And Chuck is definitely one of those guys who's always doing something. Brian K. Morris dedicates himself. How many hours are you on the videos right now? And you do a video where you talk the entire time for everybody. You're on for what, 4 hours a week?
Minimum of 3, depending on how good the conversation goes, or how swollen my ego may be that day. But yeah, I'm good for about 3 to 5 hours a week.
Yeah, and that's just amazing. And to see the way that you're actually able to continue the conversation, my ADHD cannot stay on track. Like, I would be off on a Kevin Smith tangent and be like 45 minutes later, and I'd be like, okay, second question.
Rob, we are the home of tangents on my shows. We can change subjects in mid-sentence. So, you know, I tell people I have the attention span of a mayfly. And unfortunately, my shows often prove that. So,
and Brian's shows are awesome because midway through the show, I'll make a comment, and like 10 minutes later, he has to comment on it, and it'll be like at the worst moments. Always, he'll be like, "Yeah, so she's getting better. She'll be out of the hospital next week." Rob said, "Oh, that's what the girls like. They like the fetish," and it's just so awkward. And I love it because he can't help but crack up because it is so random and out of nowhere. And I'm
like, you see the appeal of my show.
And it's like, I feel bad she's in the hospital, but he's like laughing now. And I love that about indie creators, especially like the ones who are putting themselves out. Me and Brian K. Morris are exactly agreement that creators have gotten fucking lazy. There's no other way to put it. They are lazy with promotion.
I'm all about promotion.
Yeah, I mean, and he's hustling. And we talked about this on your show. That people don't seem to want to get out of their comfort zone and actually promote themselves. They're expecting everyone else to carry them now. And that's what the Advocator is the exact opposite of. Because now we're trusting everyone else to advocate for us as well. That's why it's called the Advocator, because everyone becomes the advocate. And I would love to watch Chuck pitch my books. And not in a bad way, because I've seen Travis do a really good job, honestly. Travis has stepped up, and we table together, and we'll table together because we're in Florida. We're really close to each other, so we'll table with each other as much as we can and as often as we can, just because it's good, especially with us working on the Advocator. But Chuck, I want to see you in action, man, because you have some energy, and of course I want to see Brian in action. I want to try to find a way for us to get together somehow this year and at least do a show together, because I think it'll be so much fun. And eventually,
how about we do it next year? Because we only have like 15 days left, and I just don't think I can pull it off.
Oh, I'm in 2019. If you don't,
no, I think you could do it, Chuck. That's all that Rob and I want for Christmas. The table with you.
Got the beer already.
I've got
it. No, this is my 2019 season already. I'm already in 2019. I've given up on 2018. I've left it.
I'm giving up on it. Fuck you. Well, it's funny because you asked, you'd love to see me sell. I sold Fetish Babies, the entire series of Fetish Babies in Texas, in the Bible Belt. So yeah, I can sell, baby.
Oh, yeah. I won't fly into Texas because I'm worried what they'll do to me.
I get it.
There's pictures of me at the airport. Don't let this guy in.
Well, to be fair, I put them up, but yeah.
But I would ultimately, the goal, Travis, is for us all to get together at one point, isn't it? For as many of the Advocators to get together.
Yeah, once we get this ball rolling and we see what it can produce, and that's going to really take not just one issue, but a couple of issues, we may start, changing the deal a little bit. The deal is what it is now, but in the future, it may add a con that will buy the tables, will buy the stuff, and everyone can come out to it. There's goals and objectives to do that. But right now, we just want to get the books out to there, prove the brand works, And one of the things we haven't mentioned that's really cool. So when this launches, we're going to have one Advocate cover. So it's Advocate Presents. It's going to have a cover with all the different titles. But there's also going to be a Welcome to the Void cover, which will have Manny kicking by Kyron, unless he made that new one yet. There'll be a Broke Down cover that's on there. There's a Binary Star cover. There's all these cool covers that will have their own cover. So when you're at your table, it's going to be really easy to pitch. Like Brian said, it's way easier to pitch his own stuff. So if he has a Nature Boy cover, it's super easy for him to pitch it. It's kind of his own thing. But it allows people to sell a second copy because you'll have a different cover. People love variants.
Yeah.
And I'm not a fan of variants. I hate variant covers as a fan, but Travis has really shown me that it's really where fans want us to go. You know, it just seems to be the future, and I'm really excited about it. I got distracted. Chuck disappeared. I think we lost Chuck. But we got Chuck's couch, so it's okay.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, people want when you're talking about Kickstarter, there's a collector's market that really goes into that realm. I mean, there's people who watch Kickstarter just to find the new next up and coming person, or hoping that a book gets picked up by Image and then they can sell the original Kickstarter version and Kickstarter exclusives. So you need to cater to those fans. And for us, it really helps me if I'm selling the Advocator, if I have a Broke Down cover next to my other Broke Down books. It helps me sell the book because it shows that it's in the same universe connected. It just helps us all sell, and it helps everyone build their brand. But I'm hoping that when people order their creator copies, I know I'm going to go 50-50 split. I want half the regular cover, and I want half the Broke Down cover.
Yeah.
All right, just a couple comments from our chat room, just to make sure we're caught up. Brian K. Morris had the Rising Tide, which if you guys don't know what Rising Tide is, Brian K. Morris, explain that to us. You do it better than I will.
It's this thing. That's the name of our company, or has been for the last 2 years. I've only been doing this full time for about 6 years, and I learned along the way that there have been so many generous people who've shared their information with me, who shared insights, and of course, you guys doing what you do so well, that I've tried to pay it forward. And I came across a quote from President John F. Kennedy that a rising tide raises all ships, which is true. You call it karma, call it the universe paying you back, whatever. But I found that the more kindness I put out, the more came back to me. And a lot of my friends, my con family we'll call them, have found the same thing. And so I changed the name of it to Rising Tide as kind of a reminder what we all could be doing. And it sounds a little corny, but it works.
No, I think that's beautiful.
And not only that, Brian, but your cover's up for an award, right? You're part of something right now that a contest.
Yes. Yes. Let's see. Do I have a copy of it? Of course not. That would be far too simple. No. My 2018 release, The Haunting Scripts of Bachelor's Grove, which is part horror, original prose horror, and partly how to write comic books, particularly in the horror genre. We are part of allauthor.com, and I have put the cover by Trevor Eric Hawkins up for the month of December. And if we get in the top 3, there are promotional opportunities through the site, but mostly I want to do it because my man Trevor has been so awesome in helping me put together my covers, and he could use a little ego boost every now and then, and if we can get like our numbers way up there, I'm looking forward to him becoming totally insufferable with me. So that's something I've really got going. So if you go to allauthors.com and look in their toolbar at the top, there is a place where you can go to the area where you can vote on various covers, and you can vote for more than one, and you can vote for any cover once a week. Number 4 there has a cover by former comics artist Sandy Plunkett. That's kind of cool. And anyway, I'm around. I checked this morning. I think I'm in the mid-30s right now. We just survived the first cut, the first 100 people are still part of the contest. I'm in. Yeah, there I am. There I am. I see me right next to Unscrupulous. I'm being typecast again. Anyway, the voting is still going on right now, and if I'll have links on my page and on Rising Tide, and if everyone would care to vote for our cover, vote for Trevor Hawkins. I would love it. And if you don't like me, if you hate me, hate the very earth I walk on, vote for my cover, because a vote for that cover is a vote for Trevor, and it's a slap in my face as the publisher and the writer. So, and I will know it, and I will feel the pain. So hate me all you want, just vote for the damn cover.
Vote angry and vote often.
Take two.
All right. So Chuck.
Yeah.
Now, this week we're going to be talking to you about your project in this book.
That's right.
So give him a hint of what we're going to be talking about for those who don't know. Pretend you're talking to someone brand new, because especially with Rising Tide, now us being on Rising Tide, you are talking to people who might not have ever seen us.
Okay, cool. Yeah, all right. So I guess I'll just tell you what Welcome to the Void is. Welcome to the Void is my modern-day take on magic. And the idea is that if a Wiccan lights a candle or a Christian faith healer mends someone's bones, they're using energies that they don't fully understand, and they're using their faith as a vehicle to make that happen and to create that modern-day magic. And so what I did was I created a place, a home for those energies, and it's known as the Void. And so the Void is something that our series is going to be delving into deeply. And the thing is that we just came out with issue 0 recently, and it just shows you getting there, but you don't really get to get any of the mysteries behind it. And so what I loved about this little 4-page story, which I would like to give a shout out to Travis, who helped. I basically said, I don't really have any art. And he goes, no, man, you could try to use some of the art from the issue. And that made my head go into a whole tailspin. And so I took the art from the book, but I had the people in the other dimension watching and commenting on the things that are happening. And so it's really cool. You actually get to see spots from issue 0 in a completely different light. And I'm pretty proud of it. I think it's going to be a really cool story. And even if you don't know anything about Welcome to the Void, I feel like you'll read it and you'll go, I don't know what the fuck just happened. Where's that? I want to find that issue. I want to know what he's talking about.
And I think that's important with the Advocator, especially, is you do not have to sell a whole issue here. You just have to draw attention, and that's what Travis was talking about. 4 pages. It's not about making someone fall in love with 4 pages. It's about piquing someone's curiosity to make them look more. It's like there's no better metaphor than the sexy black dress, and that's what this is. We're trying to put on a sexy black dress for all of our creations, so you want to take them on a date and get to know them better.
Well, and what's fun about this one is, for me, for this little story, is that it might pique someone's interest, but if you really liked issue 1, and if you are a burgeoning fan, I feel like this is going to be a story that you have to read in order to get in order to really delve into what this series is going to show off.
All right, and Travis, you're going to be a busy guy in 2018. You're kicking this off right now, 2019. You of course you have the baby on the way, so you got a lot to do early in the year to get ready for the new baby coming into your life. But give us a little shout about your particular story. I like it. The title of it's even interesting.
Yeah. So we've got a whole bunch of stuff going on. My 2019, I got 4 books coming out in January and February. One of them is a full trade, and then broke down issue 2, then the Advocator, and then I've got Nerd Nation number 3. So there's tons of stuff going on. But this particular story in the Advocator, which I'm super proud of, is a 4-page story. What's really cool about this is we talk about reusing art. This was art that was the original version of Broke Down in 4 Dead Bodies. So the guy had done about 6 pages, and then he quit on the project way back in the day. And some of the characters look different. Denver and Randy look younger, which is fine. So what we did was we took this story and we wrote a new story within that universe. So yeah, it's a 4-issue story, and it takes about Denver doing his first job. So this is his first pickup job. He's with Randy, and they're doing it, and they meet a couple of new characters in that. So that's pretty cool.
I really love the fact that you still are able to bring something back from that had seemingly been thrown to the wayside, right?
Yeah. Normally this would be, used for stuff, a trade fodder to throw in the back of you. What if we did it this way, or look at this? It was really cool to take this story. I only ended up losing 1 page of art, which is cool. So I ended up still, using the majority of the art to make this little story, and it flows. I mean, you read it yesterday. It's a flowing story. The story fits. It's like it was a story was meant to be written. It's really, really cool. I like it.
Definitely. And you know what? I actually have a PDF that everyone can actually see, and we can show it on the show. What do you think, Travis? Should we show the PDF?
Yeah, you can show it. Yeah, that's not a problem.
Let's show the whole PDF to everyone. This is what you guys get, okay? We're going to give you a little taste of it. You guys can see it in this form. That's it. That's all you guys get is that.
Whoa.
Where's the cigarette?
Scroll close, guys.
That's it. That's all you get. And you can see that we're doing some cool stuff. I don't know if Travis has even seen the new cover idea that he came up with. For each one of the stories, it's going to have a unique way of showcasing it.
Yeah, you can show that. I don't think that hurts anything. If you want to open that up.
Can I get it without spoiling anything else? Let's see. It should work if I do.
Rosebud's the sled.
Oh, he shut us down. Oh, there you go. Yeah, so everybody's going to have a page like that where it kind of shows their regular book and where they can find them to try to keep getting the book. So it's pretty cool. So that's going to be the lead into the story that they're coming up. So yeah, it'll be neat.
And look at that nice lettering job someone did.
Yeah, I did a great job.
And it's getting to be an hour, so we're going to start gearing down. We want to thank Brian K. Morris for being on here. Brian, we never got to ask you, what about this project? Because I know with the three of us, we're always friends. We're always talking. We're going back and forth with ideas. You're someone who really wasn't involved in it, and you saw this, and you were like, I wanted to be part of that. What made you decide that? What made you get like, wow, that's a good idea?
It was the opportunity to mercilessly exploit your good names.
Smart.
I know what I'm doing. But no, seriously, I'm in love with the short story format. And the more I work with it, like you guys said earlier, 4 pages to tell a whole story.
Yeah,
that was a challenge. And Eric S. Hawkins, my artist, and I are going to take that 4 pages and we're going to expand it in the first issue of our own Nature Boy comic book. But we wanted, basically, the pair of us wanted an opportunity to just, 1, hang around with the cool kids, and 2, get our names. Yeah, I'm talking you, Chuck. Look out. And to get our names out in different circles. There was a totally mercenary component to it, but also I dig what you guys are doing. We both dig what you guys are doing and wanted to be part of something really awesome. And again, it was the challenge of telling a complete story in just 4 pages. And of course, I do a lot of novels and novellas and short stories and such, but I love doing comics because it is a huge challenge. It is probably one of the hardest forms of writing around, in that you have to tell a story basically in snapshot form. Whereas a novel, I can, I've got a book that weighs 1.7 pounds. So I can take my time and tell a story in a novel, but to boil down a story in 4 pages with, anywhere from 1 to 6 panels per page and a limited space for type and everything, creatively, that was just a challenge I couldn't pass up. And again, to hang around with you guys, that's been the main thing. It's been a cool experience, and I look forward to doing it again. In fact, one of the things I was doing when Rob thought I was writing notes, I actually came up with another story. So.
Oh, nice. I love the script, because I think script writing for comics is hard, because a lot of people don't realize this. You're writing 2 scripts. You write a script for the audience and you write a script for your artist. And a lot of people don't realize that. Like, a lot of people have read my artist scripts because I do the Marvel way with some of my artists, which means I give them a story and I give them more than I would give the reader, because I want the artist to kind of, I know how to talk to artists, and my artists love me because I can make storyboards, I tell them angles and all that, and they really love how I can really get into it. And a regular reader gets bored by that because they don't see the world artistically. So we have to kind of play in the realm where writing a novel, you're just writing for one audience. But a comic book, you have to write for the two different parts of it. You have to write for the creative part and the audience part. So that's a great point. And another great point you made, Brian, we're not, and Travis can back me up on this, these stories do not get thrown away in like most anthologies. Everyone gets to keep them and do whatever they want with them later. And I've been trying to push Travis to keep his story black and white so he can re-release it one day in color. Because that's what I'm doing with some of mine. I'm not coloring them because when I re-release them into my particular universes, I want it to be new and special, even though it's been shown already. So that's a great thing to keep in mind, too, when we're doing these projects. This isn't an end point. Travis can easily, I mean, Chuck can easily mix The Void together now and make a bigger issue, number one, because he's at issue 0 right now, and this is 0.5.
Yep.
0.5. So if you put those two together, you're starting to get a strong issue number 1. And Travis gets to bring back the history of his project and make it brand new and interesting, something he thought was thrown away and could never be used again. This is the power of the Advocator, is it empowers creators to step out of normal binds that they've been suffering through with creating, where things have gone wrong or they didn't get to do what they wanted to do, and they can finally follow up here and still reuse it later. Because I think a lot of anthologies, and we've all worked on the anthologies at this point, right? I know Brian has, I know Chuck has, and I know Travis has. How many of you guys actually use your work from those anthologies?
I will be.
You will be? Okay.
Yeah, Eric and I actually did a Nature Boy story about 3 years ago in Sean Delaney's Celebration Comics, and we are going to probably reuse that story down the road somewhere.
But you didn't intend to during that, right? Like,
oh no, it was simply a one-off at the time. But I also hadn't gotten into publishing comic books then either. And I'm with you. I'm all about repurposing.
Yep. And how about you, Chuck? Did you ever get to use anything you've ever worked on for anything else?
Well, I mean, I only did the one anthology so far, so I haven't had the opportunity, but I'm sure at some point I'm going to at least try to.
And then, Travis, I know that you have stuff stuck in limbo.
No, well, no. I took my 3 anthologies that I did and I put them together as a digital download for the Broke Down campaign, and I'm actually going to do it for issue 2 as well. So I always use them, but that's just a marketing guy. Like, I can't just let it sit somewhere. If I can repurpose it and rebrand it, I'm allowed to. But I will tell you, the majority of people aren't like this, and they aren't doing it because they don't. It's more work than it's itself. And what happens is, because I didn't think about doing it beforehand, there's things that I can do in digital that I could never put in print. There's work that I have that, because I don't have the original art anymore or stuff like that, because if I don't think like that from the start, I can't use it. So it'll work for digital, but I could never put it into print.
Yeah, and I'm just so excited by this project. It has no boundaries. And one of the most exciting things I think it could do is go past all of us. One day when Brian K. Morris is like out there on the road, he could see someone bring up an Advocator issue 36, and he can remember back when he was in issue number 2. And he'll be like, I remember that. And of course, he'll be a guest now at MegaCon in Florida because he's blown up so much from being an Advocator issue number 2. And
of course.
You're welcome. You're welcome. And it'll all be because Travis and Chuck have brought issue number 1 to such fame that we have an easy time with issue number 2. And the thing that's awesome about this is it rises the indie community. So I'm so tired of people writing, well, that book doesn't look indie enough. And I don't understand what that means. And I'm never going to understand what that means because it's a slur against indie creators. We're independent creators. We're not shitty creators. And I think we're going to make that shown with this amazing group of creators who are coming together to And this is what I love. This was my favorite sin when we did written sins, and I always said my favorite sin was the self-promotion. And that's what this book is. It's purely self-promotion. It is all of us getting to write stories we want to write, showcase our talents. And then on the other side of it, we get to play the angel when Brian K. Morris gets to talk about how great of a writer I am. I get to talk about how great of a writer he is. And we'll give each other money later for it. And Chuck and Travis talk about how each one of them's story was better when we're live at MegaCon in 2019. And I get to see them battle out who's better in issue number 1 while I'm holding up issue number 2 going, this is the better one. We got all the mistakes out in issue number 1.
I don't know. I think you added the mistakes into issue 2.
I don't know. There was that one word tough guy that was a little funny.
Well, I think what's important is when we get this going and we start rocking and rolling this, everybody's trying to produce their own thing. So though Rob and I like to table together, sometimes, as my catalog grows and as Rob grows, it just isn't feasible to table together as often because we have so much product on the table. But it's great that I could still continue to promote Rob. So when they buy my book and they buy The Advocator, I could go, hey, my buddy Rob, he did some of this. Why don't you go get it signed? Why don't you take out your little map and I'll show you where he is because he did this. Hey, also, Chuck has a table over at table 147. Why don't you get him signed? Because we've all been part of this really cool thing. And it allows you guys to get a pitch and allows you guys to sell a book. And you can return the favor, which is great.
And, it is limitless what this project can do. And just look at who's on this today. You got Brian K. Morris, who's Midwest. That's something that none of us are. Me and Travis are Florida, but I'm strong in New York. So a lot of people in Northeast know me. He's big in Florida. And we got Chuck, who's Canadian and Texas, which is weird to say out loud. It's literally polar.
It's weird to live.
It's like North Pole and South Pole somehow come together in a human being. And he's still nice and he doesn't carry a gun. I don't. Yeah.
That's my favorite thing is, often someone will be like, they're talking about shooting and playing and all this kind of stuff. And I'll be like, yeah, I've never shot a gun. What do you mean? Like, I've never, ever in my life shot a gun. And it surprises the shit out of them. And then I go, I'm Canadian. And they go, oh, yeah, okay, no problem.
Well, what surprised me is if you never ice skated.
Oh, no, I've skated.
Oh, okay. That would surprise me. That would have, you're Canadian. How did now I know why you got kicked out of the country. You didn't skate.
No, I'm just shitty at it. But I can skate. I just suck at it.
Apparently not good enough. They got rid of you.
Yeah, they had enough of my crap.
You just tell people that you got thrown out for shooting at people while you were skating.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to go ahead and let you all get back to work because I know everyone's busy in this panel. All of us are all doing a dozen things at once. So I appreciate you guys having the time. Definitely check out Clever Title Pending tomorrow night for the last time. Is it the last show of the year?
No, I think we've got a couple more, but after 2019 rings in, we're moving from Wednesday night to Tuesdays.
Oh, so you're doing it on Christmas?
Oh
no, wait, I got the wrong calendar. I got 2019 in front of me. That's why.
No. I think I'm taking Christmas off. I'm not sure. There's a part of me, I do shows on major holidays, and there's a part of me that hopes no one shows up because you're with your families, people you love, and invariably I have a whole bunch of nomads showing up, going, we have nowhere else to go but you. So
entertain us. But thank you for being on today, Brian. Especially you weren't expecting to be on here. You made the show better. Thank you for that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for having me, and I'll barge in anytime you need me.
Well, we're gonna count on that. And Chuck, tell them how they can follow you.
Yeah, you can track me down on Facebook as Chuck Pino. You can track me down on Twitter at Chucky Pin. And if you want to see more of Belial and Welcome to the Void, you can check out Bonfire Press on Facebook.
And he's also the guy who does the news every Monday on this.
I am.
Advocates.
That's right.
I liked his last news. He was at the point where he was tired. You could tell it was a long day, and he's just like, No, I'm going to be honest about this. I want more. I'm not going to look at this. It's not good enough. Try harder. I
did rant. Because it was just such a bad like it didn't tell me anything, and so I said, you know what? No. I'm not even going to talk about this until you tell me more.
And it's funny because like 4 posts later, there was a much more detailed thing about the entire project. And he's like, well, why didn't you just do that to begin with? Like, he was having a long day.
Yeah.
I loved it because it was so honest. It was so unchucked. Usually that's how I sound. And everyone's like, Rob is mean. He rips things down. And I'm like, you don't understand. I'm just a manager. That's not ripping it down. That's being honest.
Yeah.
That's just being honest. You could do better. And I want all the indie creators to do better in 2019. So I want us all to rise together like Brian.
The rising tide.
All right. Travis, what's going on? Where can we follow you? And when exactly is our kickoff date? I want to go on Christmas Eve. I say we say, screw it. Last minute shopping. Let's go live on Kickstarter.
Sure.
I love it.
Sure. Wow. Sure.
I've never had Travis tired before. I like Travis tired.
Oh no, I'm just exhausted thinking about because I've got January 2nd. I've got Dog Days going live. A Nerd Nation 3 is going to be printed at that time. It's just a lot. It's just a lot going on. So yeah. Whatever you guys want, we just got to approve the cover. That's the big thing. Is get the cover approved and go from there and make sure everybody likes it and everybody understands it. I want to make sure everybody gets a small little contract to protect themselves. It's not even really protect us; it's protect themselves, so they know what they're getting and they know we've committed to them. But yeah, if everything is up, I mean, I'd go live now. To be honest, if we had an approved cover, I'd go live now. I'm not worried about it funding. Well, I'm really not.
Use my Nature Boy cover.
I love just use issue number 2 stuff for the cover. You got it'll be like an intro for us. You guys could be our intro music.
Yeah. Well, we want to have an ADVOCATOR cover. I think in the future, hopefully, people donate some art to us and draw covers of the characters. But for issue 1, we've kind of put together some stuff. We'll see what happens.
I love that. Fan art in the future for covers, like have artists doing fan art for our project.
Yeah,
or even like a jam piece.
Yeah, a jam piece would be great. But again, we got to go to where we're at. But yeah, whenever you guys want to go live, I'm good. Like seriously, like I have every amount of faith that this will fund. If we did it today or we did it on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, it'll fund. So I'm not worried about it.
The only problem I have is that the people who are supposed to be helping me build the Kickstarter haven't helped me build the Kickstarter yet. I've got a little bit, but very little.
Well, you and I argued about prices, so we've got to go through prices again. So, but yes, we'll get that going.
Because I'm right and you're wrong, and you just haven't seen it yet. I'll get you there. Look
at that, like me.
I want that to be your caller ID face from now on.
That was the face of Travis not saying something mean, holding it back, and allowing you to have a quick thought of moment. It's not like I don't work in marketing or anything that I would have any idea of how to do these things properly, or spend tons of money to go through classes to make sure I do this properly, or advise tons of people. I have no idea what I'm talking about. In fact, it's not like I didn't come up with the idea in general, Rob, to make sure that this happens. Yeah, go.
I hate it when Mom and Dad fight.
As long as you're coming around to it now, I'm happy.
Who am I going to spend Christmas with next year?
Either one of us. We're sending you to your uncles, the bad uncle too.
But we'll figure it out. It's exciting. It's going to be great.
Yeah, there's some stuff that we still got to get done. We should be going live, though, hopefully. I would say Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And that'll just come down to really my son won't be with me this Christmas, so I have not. Oh, yeah, I have plenty of time on my hands to promote it during Christmas. So.
Yeah, I actually am okay with us going, maybe even 35 days or 40 because of Christmas.
That's
because it's such an unknown. So if we wanted to go sooner, like next week, like I'm completely cool with it. As long as we can approve the cover, the rest of it I'm not worried about. Seriously. I am really okay with us going sooner. Just give us the extra days at the end if we have to make up for it. It's not a big deal.
I don't know if I'd go next week just because it's going to be everyone trying to shop so much. Like, it's such a busy week. Like, I wouldn't want to put anything on anyone's back. I'm actually planning to be off social media a lot for the next 2 weeks. As far as anything heavy, anything really like intensive for anyone. So I know this is a stressful time of the year, and kidding around aside, I know that a lot of people feel lonely and stuff like that this time of year. So I'm definitely going to be talking a lot about making sure people don't feel alone. We recently in my family had a tragedy happen where someone has taken their life. So it's kind of a rough time of year, and I don't ever forget that. I don't forget that this is a rough time of the year until we get past the holidays. So next week, especially, I don't want to put any pressure on anyone in the project, especially because someone might feel like if they're on the project, they have to be part of it now during a busy.
But for some reason on Christmas Eve, it's going to magically go away and they'll feel fine.
Well, you're trying to avoid on Christmas Eve. How many of us are hiding from our family on our phones?
I'm putting my freaking kids expensive gifts that I regret buying every year under the tree. That's what I'm doing, Rob.
You're gonna want a distraction. you're gonna need to think, no, it's gonna be okay. I'll have comics to sell. I need to really push this to make money now. All right, guys, we're gonna put it a wrap. I appreciate all of your time, all of that. I'm gonna let you all go. I'm just gonna read through the comment section. You guys can hang out while I do the comments, or if you got something to do.
Yeah, I can hang out, but yeah, if people need to go, that's cool.
Yeah,
I need to motivate mostly because I've got a dead van in my driveway and I got to call somebody to tow it. But it's been great being with you guys. It's been fun.
And try to dress warmly. It's cold out there.
That's what I'm hearing. If I ever leave the house, I might try that. Thank you for the advice, Rob. I appreciate that.
This afternoon, I'm gonna
Ryan, it's cold outside.
Hey, what's in this drink?
All right. Have a great day, my friend. Hopefully it's not too serious.
Will do. Thanks, guys. Have a great one.
All right. You hanging out for the comments, or you got to go too? I know you're a busy day.
No, I can hang out.
All right, cool. So let's see what people have said while we were all playing around and giggling. Let's see. Welcome to the void. And here are our comments. Okay, so Jesse's been really active. We should have brought Jesse on. Jesse was like super active today. You got copies? Oh wait, okay. Let me know if you need anything inked up. How about Jesse? How about the story I gave you? Yeah, get a chance to check out the Cornerstone. Ooh, Cornerstone, I sent you. I did start reading it. I didn't realize that it was like so massive. So Jesse sent me this huge Cornerstone showcase. Really interesting stuff. It's like 70 pages. I thought I was getting like a 5-page to like 12-page thing. And all of a sudden I was like, my God, this is massive. It's huge. It's very interesting though. Jesse, can I send it to Travis and Chuck? I think they'd like it too. So I don't know, do you guys know Jesse Hansen?
I don't.
I do not. No.
Oh, okay, so you would have met Jesse that day then for the first time, Travis.
Yeah, I would have.
So Jesse's actually like a very talented artist, and he's creating this giant group of creators who have this entire new universe coming to life. And they've been working really hard on it, and I can show you some of it right here. This is some of the art from it right there. So this is something that you guys probably have seen going around in our circles that we've seen. And here's a showcase video. We'll see what this gives us. So, and I
do love some superheroes. You know, I've been jonesing to write a small superhero story soon.
You know, I'm doing a superhero story, but I don't really get interested in it for one reason. And I think you guys will agree with me. I want to write the superheroes that are established. I want to see when I get to Batman one day. You know what I mean? I don't want to create Batman. I want to work my way up to writing Batman. You know what? Does that make sense?
Yeah, absolutely.
Someone has done it better than me. I mean, I've got that wrestling book, but I've never seen a wrestling book like that before, where a wrestler's just given powers and he suddenly becomes a wrestler. And I'm sure that there's someone who's done it. I'm not doing the thing that's brand new, but I haven't seen it a lot, and I think I can do it really well. But what would you write then, Travis? What's your superhero book that you're looking to do? What do you?
I actually have 2 ideas for a superhero book that I'll get to eventually. I would actually like to cross Jigsaw. Got a phone call coming in.
Yeah, I'm popular
today. Imagine if someone gave someone superpowers and did kind of like the Jigsaw thing, like you have powers but they're running out and you have to accomplish a certain task. So it's kind of like put them in crazy games of superpowers. So that's an idea that I've had for a long time, and I really like drones, man. Like drones are really, really cool. There's a lot of things that they can do. I'd love to get somebody connected with some drones and do a cool drone superhero.
I definitely love drones too. Drones are showing up in my books more and more.
Yeah.
Like I originally, when I wrote Dark Justice, I was using a lot of drone stuff, and this is before drones were really popular. And when I read that book again, I'm like, I'm such an idiot for not pushing harder to have that book out. It would have been such a great, groundbreaking book that now would seem like I'm copying everybody.
Right.
I had a CEO elected as president. Everyone told me I was fucking crazy for it. Go figure. And Chuck, what would be your superhero book?
Honestly, I'm so far away from superheroes right now. I guess the closest thing that anyone could even say that I'm doing superhero-wise is Welcome to the Void. And Welcome to the Void is more my... I want people to argue on whether it's a superhero book, whether he is a hero or an anti-hero or something altogether. So that's kind of going to be my my take on it for a little while. I am kind of superheroed out, and I really want to get back to my fantasy roots.
I like that. I dig that. Okay, so back to the comments from the Jesse Hansen, who's been in our thing. He said, where was it? If we're not busy, we're doing something wrong, I always say. And I got to agree with that. What about you guys? If you're not busy, you're doing something wrong?
Right. Or you're not trying hard enough.
Yeah, yeah. Jesse Hansen says, you got copies. I don't. It didn't give me a time frame. So I've got copies of my book if you want it. They're for sale this Saturday at
Chuck can sell you copies of his book. I can sell you copies of my book. We've got you if you want copies.
Are you?
Oh, yeah.
Are you coming to the show this weekend, Travis?
I wasn't invited. Everyone keeps asking me. I keep getting tons of messages from people. Hey, you coming up to Acme this weekend? But I was not invited to Acme.
Are those invitations?
No, I told you could come hang out at my table. Remember? I said
it's not the same. I want my own spot. I'm a big boy.
I get it. I'm not going to do it anymore. Chuck, do you want his spot? Do you want his spot? His spot's taken away. You can have it, Chuck.
I'm in.
Come true. No, but Acme should be good. Do you want me to see if they have an extra table? I could ask them.
See, the problem is I have plans at 6, so I don't know what time it goes till.
Oh, it's so hard to be Travis.
Right. There's also a funeral. Someone died locally that I should probably attend as well, but I'd like to go. But yeah, if they had a table, I would really try to clear up my schedule to go because it sounds like it's going to be a good event.
Yeah, let me reach out. Let me see. I can't make any promises, but let me see because you never know. Some people might have to back out. For those who don't know, the news came out today that Richard Rivera, Stabby Bunny creator, has had some health issues. I haven't talked about it a lot. I've told him to get well. He's not doing great, but getting better. And he was someone who generally goes to that event, so you never know. You know, there might be an open spot.
Right.
Some time off to get healthy. So I wish him, and so does all of Indie Advocates, a speedy recovery. And I can't wait because he's someone I've shared tables with too, and he is family. He's part of my Comic-Con family. So we wish him well. Back to Jesse's comments. I've been publishing so much stuff that I've never seen printed. Isn't that true? Have you guys had stuff that is just dead somewhere and someone owns it and you worked your ass off and now it's just crap? I have 10 stories that are dead right now. What about you?
I have a couple.
Well, I mean, as far as if it's ever been printed, I put it in my contract every time. If my name's on there, I want a copy.
No, we're talking about things that don't get printed, that die on like an editing.
Oh, yeah, I have a couple. I have a couple. I mean, I'm still fairly new to this. I've only been at it like about 2 years. But yeah, I have a couple that have been sent out and just kind of rotted on the vines.
I have advocated to have my stuff released by the people who own it so I can do whatever I want with it. And I'm still trying to get it done because I get told by certain people, oh, we're going to still do it. We're just waiting. I don't know for what, but they're waiting. Maybe they're waiting 20 years from now to be in a time capsule. I don't know. Jesse Hansen says, I have to pay people to buy my stuff. I don't have that problem, Jesse. I don't think you should have that problem either. You're a talented guy. I hope that was just tongue in cheek. Yeah, that's
probably
sell it. That's the wrong way to sell it, dude. You're not paying people. And he said, look at that good-looking guy on the third in line. That would be this guy. He would be technically third in line. Although I think Travis is the much prettier guy with that shirt today.
Yeah, I'm rocking it. It's part of my Newsies look. I lost the Newsies hat, but
I like it.
It's part of my Newsies look.
He should get Comic-Con tables and go, get the papes. Get the papes. Get them papes.
Yeah, I lost my Newsies hat. So if anybody's looking for Christmas gifts, I would like my Newsies hat back.
Oh, man, I'll buy it. Tell me where to get it. I'll buy it. I'll wrap it. Oh, I love the Newsy hat. He stood the whole show wearing his Newsy hat. I want not just the hat, but the little thing that the kids had to put the papers in. And I want you to have your like, what is it, a satchel? Would that be?
Yeah, what are little satchels that I pull out the papes?
Wow, that's so cool.
All right, back to Jesse. Please sell your books. Don't pay people to buy your stuff, Jesse. Let me know if you need an art director. I don't think we need an art director because I think an art director would give us too much control over the project. What do you think?
Correct.
I think that empowers us as the people behind it too much.
Yeah, I think the project manager is the best position that we have. Like, I'm not saying that because it's me, but I feel that fits the project, what we're trying to do. And that's basically all the project manager does is tries to gather talent and just make sure thematically it would all fit in the same book. Like, you don't want something that's completely off the wall that would go in too far of a direction away from what everybody else is doing.
And now you guys know I'm in issue 2.
Actually, you know why Rob is humble and put himself in issue 2 because he really wanted to make sure that it's not about him. You know, if we're going to be honest, that's why you're in issue 2.
You're ruining the devil persona.
I'm sorry.
Jesse Hansen said, very good point. I have many very good points, although it might have been Travis making a good point. It could have been Chuck making a good point. Could have even been Ryan making a good point, because we all had some great points today. Have it colored, but print in grayscale. Have you guys ever tried that? Shifting the colors so it looks different, and then you could recolor it later. So do you guys know what the grayscale is?
Yeah.
Okay. So some people don't know. I don't know if I do that. If I'm going to go black and white, I'm going to go black and white. I'm not going to play with grayscale. Yeah. What do you guys think? Pure black and white or grayscale?
I actually, it's funny that you ask. We're putting Belial out early next year, and it's gray watercolors. And so, yeah, it can really, like, it's kind of like got an ink wash effect to it. Really beautiful. So I think it can flare things up a little bit.
All right. And he said the relaunch in color later. I wouldn't call it a relaunch because these things aren't being relaunched. They're meant to be used later. Like, we're very clear that these things that are in the Advocator are not exclusive to the Advocator. The Advocator just gets its first run.
Right. Everyone owns their story. Like, I can't print Welcome to the Void in a backup as of Broke Down and Forward Robotics without Chuck's permission. But Chuck, if he ever prints issue 0 again, which I think he should at some point, he should add those 4 pages because I think it makes that book better. Anything that he does. If I ever do a trade, that 4-page story is going to be in that trade.
Yeah. And you have to put that 4-page at the end, like after a black page, where it makes it look like you know what I'm talking about. I don't want to say anything more, but you got to separate it with just a black page.
I totally agree.
Yeah. And by the way, did you ever think about that title I told you about yesterday?
I did. I liked your title. The problem is that I have
the other one. The one.
Uh-oh.
You didn't see? I said you should name it 1.
Oh, no, I didn't see that.
I think one would really fit that story. Go listen to that song, and it just so happened you were texting me, and Metallica the One was playing while we were texting. I was like, holy shit, you need to do one.
Okay, let me look at that.
Read it and then listen to one, and you'll be like, oh, look at that.
Okay, all right.
So I'm done geeking out now.
I think you should start from scratch, rename your character Jeremy, and this one should be named Jeremy.
No,
Jeremy's fucking class today. Just start from scratch. Trash the whole thing.
And you know what? And maybe even do a different story. Do it completely something else.
Welcome to the donut shop.
Right.
It's time to make the donuts. He said, what a crock. I agree. I don't know. Maybe he saw a crocodile. No, I'm sure at one point we said something. I hate the fact that, see, if Facebook screwed up and they changed I used to be able to read the times that people left messages for the video, and I can't read that anymore. So I'm clueless to when he wrote it. So I'm sorry about that, Jesse.
I think that was in reference to you saying that indie needs to be indie. Like indie, like it's not indie enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I totally agree. I hate when people post, this doesn't look like an indie cover. Like, screw you, dude. I work really hard to make my stuff quality. Maybe you're trying to make it look indie. I'm trying to make it look amazing. And that's just how I feel. I hate guys who do that, you know. Indie represent outside the box, not outside the coloring book lines. I can agree with that. I don't think it always has to be outside the box, but I think that it's definitely the home of out-of-the-box thinking. What do you guys think?
Yeah.
Chuck, you dying on us?
I am. I'm trying to anyways.
All right.
Yeah, if you die, that's definitely going to push the book past Christmas Eve. So if you can not, that'd be great.
Yeah, but now that I'm dead, it would also raise the value, so you're welcome.
Right, I suppose, yeah. But Sean is going to ruin our thunder and say this is the last written work by Chuck and try to steal it from us.
He is going to do that. I know
so
that.
We would just hold it and say this is the last Welcome of the Void until the Baal came out. So we should really plan for your death a little bit more, Rob. If you could have some time after this, I think.
Yeah, but here's the problem. If he dies now, they're going to say that we're cashing in on it because the Kickstarter came so close to his death. We have to plan this so it doesn't look like we're involved.
Right.
Yeah, but Travis is a marketing guy. He's trying to make this shit work for us. He's spinning it.
Don't worry. Some of the proceeds will go to your family. We'll take care of it.
No. There's no proceeds of this. Just copies. Your family
Just copies.
Show up at the funeral with a box of copies. Chuck is going to have these.
Hand them out like pamphlets.
You have to give some to the rest of his team too.
Hopefully they're invited.
Yeah. All right. Let's see. He said he's awaiting response regarding my potential table at MegaCon this year, hoping to prove it. Lots to represent by that time. Very cool. I can't wait to see if Jesse gets there. That'd be so cool. You may end up getting a booth as a whole group rather than individual tables as it grows. Yeah, so you weren't on this. Jesse was on this when we were talking earlier about the idea of getting a booth. Booths are expensive, Travis. I looked at them. They're like $1,200.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I was like, you don't know. Because you'll have a kid, and I know Chuck's got the traveling expenses.
Yeah.
1,200's the way to go for a full booth.
We're doing a booth for Comic Palooza in Houston. It'll be me, Douglas Brown, and Kevin Joseph.
Oh, nice.
And
nice.
we're looking to do that this year, and that's going to be $850.
Wow.
Yeah, $850 I could do. $850 I wouldn't mind a three-way split. That's not all.
Yeah.
But $1,200 for Artist Alley tables and then use the extra to put them together. Or I was going to talk to you guys. Would you want to put them together or put them across the room from each other so we could direct each other to different tables? So we get bigger that. But, of course, we can have that conversation later.
Yeah.
I don't want to talk shop about that because that's our personal stuff. We can talk about that off air. But just something to think about with that. It's a good point. For those who don't know, because I know some people are like, what the hell are they talking about booths and tables? Booths are generally in a con. How would you describe a booth, actually? because they are different at cons. They're not always separate from itself.
It's considered on the main floor, so that's the main traffic that people are going to. So everyone will probably see your booth. Some people avoid Artist Alley because they're not into indie comics or stuff like that, where if you're at a booth, you're going to be found and seen by everybody who comes through. It's normally in the first 3 rows or so of a con. For MegaCon, it's like the first 12 rows.
Yeah, also, the problem with the booth, too, is you get lost a lot in knickknacks and especially
oh, yeah, sure.
Florida, you'll be in the middle of like a guy blasting music to promote some video game that he's getting to give away free shit for, and that happens a lot on the booths, and that's what makes me nervous about a booth too. Is I've had friends complain about booths with that, so I'm not anxious to get into a booth.
No, I think 2 tables next to each other would be great if we could get 2 tables. You know, but like I said, a lot of people aren't getting responses, so hopefully we could get 2 tables or a big corner table.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm already, so all I have to do is ask for an add-on.
Yeah,
a little easier for me. They don't have to vet me. I'm already vetted.
Yeah,
and I've been a representative of that show. Well, I'm not representative, but a participant of that show now, straight from every one of their things since 2016. So. I've got MegaCons. I've done press for them, so I've got a pretty good rep with them. So I'm hoping to cash in on that a little bit and see if we can get a little love. All right, Jesse Hansen says it works, so no video input someday. Oh, okay. He couldn't come on anyway. I need to pencil and pin up piece you want. Cool, cool, cool. 60 pages. Wow. 3 to 5 page stories each. 60 pages. So that book I was talking about was 60 pages that he did.
Oh wow.
It's intense. Jesse Hansen, it's sure thing. Chuck and I have talked on Messenger only. So this is Chuck. This is the sexy man, Chuck. And me and him are always talking.
Oh, yeah.
We'll actually come on the video sometimes and just talk to each other on video and not live. And it's kind of cool. Every so often we invite Travis. Travis will come with us and we'll hang out when we're talking about the Advocator. Because sometimes, for you guys who don't know, this is a great way to actually talk to each other. It's even better than being on the phone. When you're on the phone, 90% of the time, we're walking and doing something else. But this actually forces us to pay attention to each other. That's what I like, especially with my ADHD brain. And I'll put it on myself. I have such horrible ADHD right now. If I weren't controlling this, I'd be playing a video game probably on this right now. And going, I understand, Chuck, you want rodents. He's like, what are you talking about? I didn't say rodents. I was like, but they'd be cool. They'd be so cool if there were rodents in your book.
We've seen you open 3,000 tabs. We get it.
Yeah,
right.
That's nothing for a video, Jesse says. And not to that, but it's funny that was the first thing to get said after that. Let's see. Christopher Dumont joined us. Oh, Dementry. I hate last names. Last names really screw with me. We should talk about the Void sometime, Chuck. Jesse wants to talk to you about the Void, Chuck. So that's for you. That's a message for you.
He doesn't want to talk to me about Earthbound, whatever.
He just ignored all my stuff, and we're working on something together. But okay, Jesse, shuttle up.
It's fine, Jesse. Yeah, Chuck's great.
The indie darling. Go ahead. Show love to the indie darling. We all know everyone loves her.
Indie darling. Like I don't even know what to say.
I meant copies of the work that I have worked on and never got any copies. That sucks, dude. If you've worked on something and you haven't gotten something, I checked in with my artist, and that reminds me, I got to check back in with CG Gajardo. He said he didn't get his Monsters second book, and that reminds me, I gotta look for that receipt. Because when you send it to Canada, you don't know where it goes through. I don't know if Canada can deliver it, but it takes fucking forever.
Well, they were on strike too, remember?
Oh,
sorry about the time, yeah.
What the hell? I thought they were socialists. Weren't they forced to work like true socialists?
Actually, a true story. They actually did work 1 day a week, even though they were on strike. Because Canada.
Hey, just 1 day. Just one. We'll give you one. I was referring to the indie cover photo, third in line. Oh, third in line. Oh, you're third in line, Jesse. Jesse's an attractive dude. And I can say that being completely comfortable with the fact that I might be bisexual. No, I'm just kidding, Jesse.
That might be.
Or maybe I'm not.
I think he's talking about the Advocator covers, maybe. Maybe he's talking about
Talking about the Indie Advocates, the main site.
The banner. I love that banner. I even mentioned it in the news.
He saw himself and he got distracted. And he's like, "Look at this perfect timing! Look, it's actually live right now. Here we go. That is actually what we were just talking about. This is Jesse's picture, and it is.
Oh crap!
He's an attractive dude. He is certainly an attractive dude. And now I've made it creepy.
Yeah, so, can we go back to drugs? Because I felt more comfortable there.
So funny. Me and Chuck were having so much fun talking about it. All of a sudden, like, you saw Brian K. Morris and Travis were like, I don't know. Like, they were like totally Republican for a minute. They're like, I don't know if I can have this conversation. I'm gonna have to talk to my press agent. Excuse me. I
wasn't even sure how we got there. I'm like, whoa, wait. How did we get down this alley?
But once it started going, it became so much fun because I'm watching Brian and Travis going, I
drink coffee.
Oh man, that was awesome. Let's see. I've been there the whole time. Oh wait a minute, hold on. Okay.
Is it all just Jesse?
Yeah, Jesse loves us, but no one else does. Which, although I didn't check the Advocator because I have it here. I wonder if the Advocator got anything. Jamie was watching us, so hopefully Jamie liked what was going on. The Advocator's site, which we're live on right now, still doesn't have as much traffic yet, but this will help build its traffic. It's why it goes on it. Right. So there's that. And let's wrap it up with Jesse. I've been here the whole time, guys. Yo, man, you're awesome, Jesse, man. I normally chime in when you're all live, but as I'm at work, I just listen. We have something similar to The Void is why. Oh, so Jesse.
Oh, okay, cool.
So maybe there's a crossover potential there, Chucky.
I'm interested, yeah.
Tons of things in LOL.
People just love Chuck's Void. It's just weird.
That sounded so dirty. That was like
that was what I was going for.
They want to enter Chuck's Void. That's what it is.
My wife married me for my Void. Yeah.
All right, guys. So we've talked about drugs. We've talked about Chuck's Void. But more importantly, we talked about an amazing project that I have said and completely think that this is going to change indie comics. Because until me and Travis, and it was so amazing when me and Travis were talking about this, because we were instantly on the same page, that we wanted this to be about the creators behind the project, not about the person putting the project together. And that, I think a lot of the bringing together of people have always been one-sided, and one person benefited over everyone else, and that's not cool. And that ends with us. And I actually like the book versus profit thing because it forces you to get active and promote. You know, like, oh, I don't do Comic Cons. Well, then you shouldn't be part of this project because we're hustlers. We don't want people who are going to be on the sideline who aren't going to promote anything and show up. And it's basically, I joined your particular anthology because I'm too lazy to do it myself, and I'm going to build off of you. And I don't want that. I want people who are going to go in the trenches, who are going to say, you need this book. And that's why I also said, and we've talked about this with prices on the cover, I don't want to put a price on the book, first off, because I don't like valuing a book that way necessarily, because the value structures are all different. You know, if you're getting it from the Kickstarter versus buying your own copies, it could differ the price. So, and second, you don't know. Like, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a fan of it, but I think that Travis, I'll give Travis credit, he might be right. If we want to get this into comic book shops, we're going to have to put a price on it. So we're going to have to sit down and we're going to have to figure out what price works best. And it's funny because for me, the Advocator will be put in a bundle. It'll always be a goal to sell the Advocator with one of my books.
Yeah.
I'm always going to hide basically the cost of it within the bundling of it to make it so I can give it basically away because I want to give it away. Me and Travis are on the same page that way, that I don't think either one of us are going to use it as a profitable material. I think
no, but I wanted the opportunity for someone who needs that profit to have it.
Yes, I'm thinking about a Chuck who doesn't have a lot of his own books yet. You know, you'll get there, but now you just have, which just considering your book not editing credits, because I know you said it was harder to sell the editing credits.
Yep.
To sell your own. to have you be able to say this book, and I think $6.99 is a good price, and we can go a little bit back and forth, but just as an example for this video, let's say it was $6.99 and someone comes to your table and you're like, oh yeah, the cover price is $6.99, but I'll tell you what, if you buy Welcome to the Void 0 and you buy this today just for you, I can do probably the 2 books. What do you sell the Void for at your table generally?
$3.
$3?
Yeah.
First off, I think you should raise the price.
Yeah, it should be at least 4.
Yeah, it should be 4. You know, you don't want to do 2 singles, and that's just a dollar thing. It's because you got to pay for sometimes singles when you start selling enough.
Yeah,
who will charge you for that. So just that little bit of less calculating and stuff makes a big difference. And number 2, I would then say, let's say it's $3 and this is for 6. I would say, you know, I'll give this to you 2 for 6, and boom. You got them to buy your book, which is really cool because now they're going to be like, hell yeah, I can get all this stuff and I can get that. See, Jesse agrees with he says $3.99. I hate the 99 just because I feel like I'd have to carry pennies to a Comic-Con.
I hate 99 because it's psychological pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all smart enough now to know that it's psychological pricing. So I say just fucking make it $4. Like screw all that stuff. Just make it $4. Make it easy. We're not trying to pull the wool over your eyes, and let's show it in the price.
Travis, I know you're going to argue that the 99 works still, and I agree with you, right?
It does work, but when you're doing cons, and that's our primary thing, like Broke Down is $5, so I think it should be, and I think the book should be $5.
Yeah, I think 5. I actually agree with 5. I'm okay with. I think 5's a good point for it, you know, because I think it's worth $5 at least. And Jesse said $3.99, so I can read him in the comments. Finally, the comments started working on the video again. I don't know what's up with Facebook lately, but they've been very glitchy with it. And he says, personally, base pricing versus overhead expense and exposure for the brand marketing will pay a lot when it comes to something new. And you know about that, right? Promoting it with marketing and the cost of marketing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we're lucky that we have this brain trust in Travis that sees things we don't see it. I see things more like a manager and a creator, and Chuck is just Chuck.
Yeah, I mean, the deal should be, especially, let's use Chuck as an example. I would actually go the opposite. I would not, because when you have 0 and 1, you say, hey, if you buy both these books for 10, I'll throw in the other book. So I'm giving you the other book. So it's 6, 4. So basically the other book costs you $1. The Advocator costs you $1. So you're trying to get that $10 price tag every time you get at somebody at the table. You know?
Yeah.
Oh, you have another book, Chuck?
Well, he's got issue 1 coming out later in the year.
Oh, yeah. You'll have issue 1. You'll have your other series.
But he does have Nerd Nation. So I would just give
Travis. Chuck, are you still there?
I'm here.
Oh, Travis just froze on. There he goes. Travis, what did you say? You froze.
I said, I mean, the goal for Chuck or any indie creator should be to try to get that to that $10 price mark, right?
Yeah.
So throw it in at 10. So whatever they can get to 10, throw the Advocator in to get them to 10.
It's funny because I was doing that with Nerd Nation, the first anthology I was a part of, and so it was 8, and Welcome to the Void was 3. So I was like, hey, look, I'll give you both for 10.
Right.
So they get a discount, and I get a nice round number.
What's good is 10, 20, and 40. 30 actually kind of harder. 25 works well, too. It's just a magic number. Like, I do the Fetish Baby series for 25, and Travis has seen it. People will pay the 25. Because every book's $10. I'm now giving you a deal. You'll get $5 off. It's like an instant coupon.
Oh, for all 3. Yeah, that makes sense.
And then sometimes I'll throw in monsters. And he saw me doing this because I want to build the monster brand. I was throwing it in for 4 for 25. So, I mean, there's always that. Why are you making the face like you're talking?
Oh, I was talking to my wife. I'm sorry. That wasn't directed towards you.
Why doesn't Travis like me anymore?
No, my wife was I was telling her I was still talking while she was saying she was going to happen.
Well, no, it's funny because I love that happened. There was one time when I was doing the Welcome to the Void Kickstarter, and you know what? I've been married for 19 years. So, you know, eventually things get old. But she came in and she just looked really good. And I'm in the middle of an interview and she bent over to pick something up and I was just like, damn, like checking out my wife. And then I realized, oh shit, I'm live.
And they call me the dirty one.
Right?
Because you are.
Because you are.
But I can see $5 working.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think $5 is good. And like I said, if you could sell it, and never start with that, right? If someone will buy all three for the regular price, let them buy all three for the regular price. You need to sell them a deal, sell them the deal.
Yeah. Hey, are we still live on Facebook? It's like we got a little crazy. Okay, just making sure.
Just making sure. Just making sure everyone knows we're creepy. Good to know.
Yeah, no, I'm just making sure we're all aware of what's currently going on here.
I am, but I'm the one who's behaving the most today somehow, so I'm okay. For me, this is great behavior. All right, so Jesse said the 1 cent difference is a major mental part of marketing game. It really is. I just don't like the idea of feeling like I have to carry a penny at a show. Because I would feel obligated to have to do it, but I would do it, and I think a lot of people would be like, keep your penny. Honestly, I think that they really would be like, I don't want the penny.
Yeah.
And then I would donate that penny to Ronald McDonald House.
Right.
Seriously, and Travis, you know this. I don't think Chuck knows this. Every time I sell a fourth monkey, $5 goes to the Ronald McDonald House.
Oh, that's cool.
And when I bought the issues already paying for the $5. So it's already gone. The money's spent. It's at Ronald McDonald House.
Oh, that's cool. That's really cool.
I'm a good dude.
Yeah, but
you're just trying to get some good karma.
You're not wrong. The $4.99 is a mental thing. Like I totally get it, but when you're doing cons, making change could be miserable.
Yes. And especially like you're gonna wind up misplacing things at times. The more times you have to break something, the more potential you have for mixing pots or misplacing something. Or running out, even worse. There's nothing worse than not being able to make a sale because you can't make a sale. And it will have that. And Travis, I'm sure you've dealt with this. And Chuck, I don't know if you have the signal not working for the PayPal.
Not yet.
Oh, man, it is the worst feeling in the world because I've had to have people leave the room, pay me on PayPal, and come back and show me.
Oh.
Because they couldn't get it, especially at like a Tampa Bay MegaCon. They have us in that hall. There's no reception at times of the day. Just too
I haven't been doing the PayPal. I use the Square app.
Is
Square better? Like Travis, you have Square, right?
Yeah, I like Square better, but I use it for my regular business as well. So
I think I'm switching this year because everyone knows that Sinsel Comics. I think that it's officially ended. Actually, the LLC is done.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
I think.
Well, it is. It was one of those things where my ex said, I want to do this for you. I want to support you. I want to be there for you. I'll take care of the business. You just make comic books. She's like, I got your back, and then completely didn't do anything with it. And just kind of like dropped it and said, oh, well, yeah, use it when you need to. And I was like, what the fuck does that mean?
Yeah.
Like I wasn't ready, and I think that you guys will understand that. As a creator, you have to be ready to do something like that. When you're not ready, you just feel like it's not the right time and it's forced,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bad relationship. So for me, having that off my back and having to feel like I have this, like, it's all mental too. I feel like this business looming over my head, and as it's failing, it's a reflection of me, but it's something I never wanted, and I'm being forced to deal with, and I'm like, I don't know what to do with this. I'm not ready for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, I have an awesome wife, and she's super supportive of all these things all the time. In fact, she's going to hang out with me tomorrow at a signing.
Oh, that's
just to hang out. She wants to. Like, if I schedule something where she's not hanging out, I feel like I've let her down. So, because she really wants to be part of this, she wants to be invested. Yeah. This is our business, and I love it. I love it. I love that she's part of it. I don't even know how to handle it a lot of times because what do I do with that?
Yeah.
This is going to sound very egotistical, and I'll be honest. I'm very jealous that you have that. Happy you have it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like I'm happy that you have it. I know Chuck has it, and that's what I want. Yeah. This is going to sound very egotistical, but right now I almost feel like if I don't find someone to have a relationship with, then I'm never getting married again. But if I don't find someone to be like my ride or die, and I'm not going to finish the sentence, but you know how it ends.
Right.
Because I don't refer to women that way anymore. It's just a thing I try to do. I refer to men as bitches, but not women.
Because we are.
We are. I'm afraid if I don't find a girl who fulfills that kind of support system and really helps me have a relationship now, and I make it and I plan to make it, and this is like something I'm already on the path to doing, I feel like I'm almost never going to trust anyone who wants to be with me once I have established a name where it's like, are they dating me or who I am?
Right.
You know, are they date? It's like it must be how Bruce Wayne feels. Are they dating me or are they dating Batman? You know?
Yeah.
You know?
I think it just has to be a part of your relationship. Like, sorry, you're not just dating Rob Anderson. You're dating Rob Anderson, the creator. And so, if you're not down for that ride, maybe this isn't gonna work. You know?
Oh, I know that feeling, Chuck. This is my year of that.
Yeah.
Someone got off the bus this year and was like, "You suck."
Yeah.
But I mean, it happens. So it's hard, man. It's hard having relationships, even friendships in indie comics. I've seen people go at each other never before for no fucking reason. They've been ripping into each other over stupid things they can't control. Especially the worst thing that I'm so happy we're past is The Last fucking Jedi. I now hate that movie now, not because of the movie, but because of what it did to my friends and how it made my friends treat each other. Douglas Brown's checked in, and I go with $5. People know that indie books are going to be higher just due to lower print runs. I don't think people inherently know that, actually.
No.
Just like small batch beer versus big boys. Oh, that's a great analogy, though. I'm actually going to steal that.
You should use that for sure, yeah. Douglas Brown, actually, he and I all my tables I've done so far, I've done with Douglas. I really like the dude. He's a great representative, and when I leave the table, he still tries to sell my book, and I just great guy. And Stormy, his book, we're working on issue 3 right now, and it's looking really good. So yeah, a lot of good stuff coming out of his camp.
Okay. Also, Jesse pointed out something I didn't catch this. It would be more than a penny since tax brings it up. How? You know what? We're not going to talk about tax on air. No, not going to do it.
Yeah, because technically you should be taxed per the state you're in, so it gets really confusing, especially if you don't know it.
I personally do not want to have this conversation on a live feed. So thank you for your comment, Jesse, but we're not talking about that. There's one thing two things that scare me in life and that will always scare me. It used to be 3, but I got married, so that nightmare came true. The other 2 things I was always terrified about were taxes and debt. And I don't fuck with either one anymore. I pay my taxes very happily, big smile. I don't complain. And I don't live in Canada, so 25% of my paycheck doesn't disappear. It's only 22% in America. Let's see. People don't care why. They only care about saving their money. LOL. Yeah. You guys, like, pricing. Let's talk about that, and then we'll end this program because it is getting to be 2 hours. I didn't even realize.
Right.
Pricing. And this is a big gripe, and you know I've had a big gripe, and I went through a year of experimenting with this, and I think everyone's got pricing indie comics wrong. And I think that there are people out there who make a 10 stupid black and white book, and I call it stupid because they're not putting effort into it, and they're really horrible books. And you know, you've seen some of them, Travis. I know you have. And they're saying that we have to price all of our books at $5 because it benefits them. And then you have a creator who's bled, sweat, and teared and is paying $285 per issue to have it printed. Forget about the cost of of travel, of lodging, of the table. Sells his book for $5. How is that fair? I don't understand how $5 became the standard for every book. And we're not page counts or anything like that. And you've been at a table with me where I justify my pricing, and people are like, that makes sense. If you explain to the market, I believe, the market being the consumer, why your book is what it is, and you have a reason for it, I think they're okay with it. What do you guys think?
Yeah. I think if you can explain yourself and people get that it's not, like, I'm not out to take, especially if, I feel like if you can just explain the overhead of it and just say, hey, man, it costs like $5,000 just to make a fucking comic. and I'm printing them at almost $1.50 to $2 a book. I kind of need to make some money back on this.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think, Travis? You're the marketing guy.
It's such a tough thing, and I remember there's a book, and I'm not going to say the guy's name, but I got it, and it was like 6 pages. It was like a 6-page book, and it was like $7 with the shipping and everything. And what do you do with that? Like, you're clearly ripping them off, and that if that guy went to a con, he wouldn't be able to sell it. And you can sell anything from like 18 to 24 because nobody counts the pages while they're sitting there. Yeah, but really, like, if you want to be honorable, like was super proud to give someone a 32-page book for $5. Super proud to do that, and was glad to do that. Should I have gone to 6? Maybe, but I want to be able to sell 2 at cons. I think it's a lot easier to get $5 out of somebody. Once you break that $6 mark, it's a little bit harder.
Oh, well, once you break 6, you just want to get to 10.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
I agree with you, and that's what happened with the fetish babies. And it's funny, it's a tale of two worlds, because Jax the AnderSiN I put for 5, Monsters and Jax, I mean Monsters and Fetish Babies are 10, and they're all magazine sizes, and Fetish Babies and Monsters are double issues. They're 32 pages. So when I put it at 6 or 7, it didn't sell better than when it was 10. It's so true. People would buy it at 10, and what I would do, and you guys have, I know Travis has seen this, I throw another book in there. I always try to bundle because I want people to get the best deal they can. Like Chuck, I'm not trying to rip people off, but you have that baseline of $10, it gives you so much playing room to do other things. I would love to get down to a point where I could sell my books for $5 each, but I don't necessarily know 32 pages should be $5, honestly. I think it should be like $6 or $7. But I think
it's undervaluing the medium in a lot of ways, to be honest.
Yeah, but I mean, we have to fight against the consumer who doesn't know.
Right.
That's the hard part.
But that's the nice thing about having a booth, is that it's also a pulpit. You can go up there and you can shout and rant about how long it takes, and you don't have to shout or rant, but you can certainly inform the consumer so that they're aware, like, this is an expensive ordeal.
That's why alternate covers are really going to help you out, because then you can add that extra value that you need to do on those alternate covers. Today I sold my first book outside of the Kickstarter of the super rare cover for 20, and that was super stoked for me.
That's awesome.
So I got to sell my artist edition for 20, which is what it should go for. And that's going to help me make money, make up for the other stuff. Because, I got 1,500 comics for Broke Down and 4 Dead Bodies. It's going to be a long time before I can make my money back, because there's a lot of printing on that. But that helps. Those $20 books helps me get that stuff, and it helps me make table. When I sit next to Rob's like, hey, did you make table? And I'm like, even though, sometimes I go there for free and just partner with Rob, I sometimes still don't make table when I factor in gas and all that. And it's because I can't get my price up. And this helps me do that, and it allows me to do that in a way that I can get fans who want to read it. If you want to read it, I want to give it to you as cheap as possible. I'll give it to you for free if I can. I just want you to read my book. I want you to read my stuff, and I want you to love it. I want you to enjoy it as much as I do, because I think it's good. And I'm not just saying that because it's me. I really think it's a quality product. So whatever I can do to get it in your hands at the rate that is consumer friendly, I want to do. Eventually I want to go to Rob. I love his 3 books for 25. It's amazing when I see him do it. And I'm like, man.
Yeah, if you do that 8 times and you're already at $200.
Right.
And I did that a single day. I mean, in New York, I sold less just because of circumstance. I was on such a small little part of a table, and I was with so many people, and I was still doing okay because of those incentives, and you need the incentives. One of the things that I want to touch on that you said, because I think it was a very powerful statement that was said to me, and you made me remember it, is I had a creator friend who came up to me and said, you can't worry about what the world wants. You have to worry about what your value is. And he's like, if you're going to value yourself as selling, because I was trying to do a thing where we were selling fetish babies and Jax and Monsters all for $3 each, just because I wanted to see what happened. And he came over and he looked at me and he's like, this is going to fail. And here's why it's going to fail. If you hand someone a comic book, they're not going to read it. If you sell it from $3, they're going to think it's cheap and they're going to put it in their bag and forget about it. He's like, if you can sell it, and I've seen you sell it for $10, they're going to go home and they're going to read it. because this cost them $10. They just bought admission. $10 is an investment. When they invest in it, they'll read it. They'll come back to you. He's like, do not shortcut yourself. If there are 10 people who won't buy your book because it's not $3, guess what? Those people weren't going to read your book.
Right.
He's like, they're just looking for a book to collect because they're not really interested. Anyone who's interested will buy a book for $10 because it's not a lot of money. People buy coffee for $10. With some of these, he's like, $10 isn't a lot. What you have to do is prove that it has value. And I'll never forget that. Does your book have value to a consumer? And we've talked about that, and I'm talking about reshaping the Monsters book to make it have better value and make it a better product. And that's what I want to do. And I want to make, well, I think Fetish Babies is one of the best things I've still released. And I'll always stand by that. And I'm going to make it better. And we're changing the brand and all that. I'm going to make it better. And when I re-release it, it has to be the best. And that's what I have to start doing with every book I do. This has to be the best I can do right now with everything I have in front of me, you know?
Yeah.
And I think that's what it comes down to. But, I mean, the Advocator is about value. The Advocator is that next step of something I'm proud of. I could not be happier to be involved with such a media of colossus talent from indie comics. And I can't wait to the point where, and this is the future that I look forward to, forget the tables, forget the print costs. I want to get us to the point where we can add a creator that's never had anything done before and elevate them. That to me is like the biggest goal of this project for me. One creator every book in the future, once we get started, that has no following and suddenly is in the conversation.
Yeah. Well, what's more important is not just being in the conversation, because you can be in the conversation in any anthology. You're in the conversation with other people's brands. Your brand is just as valuable as Welcome to the Void, which has a successful Kickstarter, Broke Ground for It Bodies, have a successful Kickstarter, Binary Star, which has a successful Kickstarter. You're already branded as successful right off the bat, and that's what's going to make that new indie creator more important.
Because you've surrounded yourself by success.
Correct.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I'm going to let everyone get back to work. We've been on this for 2 hours. Long time to be talking, but it's a lot to talk about when it comes to the project. I'm glad to have you back on this week to talk about your project exclusively, where it won't be a roundtable thing. I'll just be the moderator and be asking you questions the entire time. Travis will be next week as we go into possibly a launch next week. If we can get the Kickstarter updated enough, maybe we will try to launch early. We'll have
I'll do a rough draft of the project. You know, this is not really for everybody, but I'll do a rough draft of the Kickstarter today. I'll play with it tonight and see and stuff. But we still got to get that cover approved, the everybody cover. I think that's the most important part.
Did you see the new one I put up?
Yeah, I didn't like that one either.
Why did you like that one? What was wrong with that one?
I really feel strongly about what I put together. Like, and I don't think it's an ego thing. I really feel that's the best representation.
You don't have 6 people. We'll talk about that off air. We're not going to.
Yeah, that's fine. You're good. But this is making comics, kids. If you want to make comics, these are the conversations you're going to have.
Yeah.
You got to have to tell
absolutely.
someone that something sucks or that you don't like something. And sometimes you're wrong. Sometimes I could be wrong in this, or Rob could be wrong. And that's why, you know, we have these discussions, because it's okay to be wrong. And we just want to make the best product.
Yep.
And I'm biding my time because I want to be right.
All right, that's the end of Chuck being on the show today. But listen, guys, we're all going to head out. We all got stuff to do today. I got to return like 4 phone calls. Apparently today people decided to call me. So I'm going to get to it. You guys, awesome as always. Thank you for being on the show, and thank you for helping create something that's going to change indie comics.
Thanks for having us.
All right, you go take your nap, and Travis, you get back to work, and I'll go do indie advocating. Catch you all later.
Bye.
See ya.
All right, guys. So that's it for the show today. Thank you for tuning in. My name is Mr. AnderSiN. This has been a presentation of IndieAdvocates.com. You can expect to see The Advocate on Kickstarter by the end of the year. Absolutely, certainly. We are going to be launching as soon as humanly possible. I appreciate everyone tuning in today. Jesse Hansen, you were awesome. Thank you for all the comments. This has been a great show. We're going to have it uploaded so you guys can all watch it. I do have to go, though. I just realized what time it was. And I know everyone's got some more comments, so we will continue the conversation in the chat room. I appreciate you all. I appreciate all your time. Thank you so much. My name is Mr. AnderSiN. I am the Indie Devil, and I am proud to advocate for the Advocator.